This injustice will not be sustained.
That somebody must be heard, and you cannot sit as a judge in your own cause. That's what we're saying, that Natasha cannot get justice in this matter. If you want, yes.
Okay, the question I asked you is around, can she represent her petition following the proper procedure, and then what will then happen? That's what I asked you.
If she notice any defect as pointed out by her colleagues, that under the Senate rules you are not supposed to sign a petition yourself, and she think that she want to withdraw that particular petition and represent another petition that is signed on her behalf, she has the privileges to do that, like as she said on the floor of the Senate at the plenary, that denying her the right and privilege to submit her petition is denying her privilege and right as a senator. So she has that fundamental right to withdraw that petition and represent it. But I don't even see that a senator that made a personal petition that concerns her, this is not like a petition from her constituents that to her to present on their behalf at the floor of the Senate. This is a petition, her personal petition, arising from an incident that happened at the plenary at the floor of the National Assembly. She now made a further media clarification on this platform and on the issue of sexual harassment and abuse of office, which she stated clearly that my petition is on sexual harassment and abuse of office. So she signing that petition, I don't see it as a major, breach that should deny her fair hearing on that particular petition. Laws are dynamic. Laws are not static. If there's a standing rule that says you mustn't sign a petition that you present, probably that if you are presenting a petition on behalf of your constituents, but if she have scripted a petition personally on an incident that happened at the plenary, at the floor of the Senate, and she has now reduced it into a petition to present officially, and she signatured it, I don't see it as any big deal. I don't see it as any major defect. But if that is what the Senate standing rule says, and she has that right and privilege to withdraw and have another person sign it on her behalf and represent. But the substance of the matter must not be swept under the carpet. She said yesterday at the floor of the Senate that my petition is on sexual harassment. A public officer shall not put himself in a situation where his personal interests conflict with her official duties. And this is exactly what the lady said, that is abuse of office. Okay. So I'm also calling on Senator Natasha to, do a further petition to the Code of Conduct Bureau, to investigate the matter. The Code of Conduct Bureau has the constitutional power to look into her petition, and if they establish a prima facie case, they can refer it to the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
Mr. Akere, thank you so much for your thoughts. I'll come to you, Mr. Maxwell Okpara, and I'll point out two case scenarios where I saw bias on the part of the Senate and why this case has shown that the Senate Ethics Committee will not be fair to one of the parties in this matter. The first case, the first part was what you said just now. Now, why didn't they respect the court injunction that said stop the proceedings? Because that was served on them. I have a letter here that talks about when they even wrote to the clerk as regards that. So they have ample information. And let me also tell you the trick they play, the other part of bias here. The sitting was supposed to be held today.
So guys, we all witnessed what happened yesterday at the Senate. Eventually, Senator Natasha was suspended for 6 months. But guess what? She is not backing down. So many people are on this case. Yes, it will not just go like this. If you know Senator Natasha very well, she's one woman that cannot easily cower like that. Like, she cannot easily back down from this. As I'm talking to you, a petition is going on online for her to be reinstated back into the Senate House for the suspension not to stand. And also her last word, remember her last word in the Senate yesterday, that this injustice will not be sustained. Yes. So this is not the end of it. Like I tell you, this case have gone up to be a very big case. Yet, It has gone on to be a very big case, and so much more is going to come out of this. But before we go further, let's watch into this people's reaction and what others have to say concerning this.
6 months. You hear the craziest parts when they brought up the prayers. They say those in support say aye, everybody aye. Those against say nay. Even one person no support her. Now, I immediately said I'll give one of my chairman, because I told him, I said, this is a white elephant project. These fights cannot yield anything. Do you understand? Do you know what Natasha tried to do? Natasha tried to take the president, to report the Senate president to the Senate. Do you understand? How does that work? You are petitioning the president of the Senate to the Senate, the president of all lawmakers. You are suing him. Whether they talk through or not, you know, go still win. Especially in a place like Nigeria. What were you expecting? That some people will support you so that they will miss their chances for 2027? Some other people have a big political ambition that they are not ready to play with because of one Mrs. Natasha Uduagan somewhere. This is Nigeria. She didn't really calculate her fight properly. That being said, for me, I love the fact that she stood up for herself. You understand? I love it. Whether they like him or not, they out there. If they like, if the man do him, I don't know. If he no do him, I don't know. But she don't speak her truth and the thing don't free. But you see why this fight is against her somehow. Because this thing happened to you. You had an opportunity to speak. You didn't speak. Although for victims, you cannot tell them the right time to speak. The time that they speak is always the right time. There's no particular time to speak for the victim. But from Natasha's angle, and I will go 50-50, right? From Natasha's side, it can't be as if Natasha they deliberately disrespect the Senate president because she gets something on her. That being said, again, the Senate president from the other angle, it can't be as if as she no green knock Senate president too, they throw us up and they poke her. So now 50-50. From Natasha's side, it be as if because of the evidence, she no one respects Senate president. From the other side, it can't be as if Senate president they deliberately they poke her because she no be give her knocking to knock. So it's a 50-50 thing. But in the case of say she sue Senate president, we all knew that was not going to fly. But like I said before, the Senate president is supposed to stand trial. To be very honest, it's supposed to stand trial. They accuse you of something. She claims she have evidence. Did you people even bother to do an investigation to see her evidence? When I don't see her evidence before when I just conclude, I don't rush now go suspend the lady now. The lady don't get anything to talk. What was she even expecting? She wouldn't have started this fight, to be very honest. So how many women did the house? How many women did the house? I'm not saying Natasha is saying the truth, or it's possible that she cooked up the story, and it's possible that she's saying the truth. But I wish she had come out with that kind of thing. If evidence no they did a word of mouth, because she said the guy man make advances, the husband they went there, they touch her hand and all that. Anyway, Senator Natasha, stay strong. And then for women, I know a lot of women, this will stop a lot of women, a lot of victims. It will push a lot of victims back to the cupboard, to push a lot of victims back to the closet, because they've seen that if somebody as big as Senator Natasha would come out to something like this and she would not get justice, then talk less of them that are not up to her level. It's a very complicated situation. That being said, I'm not saying that Senator Natasha is saying the truth or Senate President Akpabio Duang, but I'm just saying that she deserves a trial. If at all, she deserves trial. Two of them, the Senate president needed to calm down first. May deputy take over, then may they go through the case properly. May everybody bring their evidence. Then anybody when no come get evidence, then that person, they feel sanction them, or they go strip them off the Senate, blah, 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 blah. But it's just so unfair that I had to end like this. But welcome to Nigeria. Like I said before, I don't tell my chairman, even though he argued with me, I told him, I said, bros, Senator Natasha will not get anything out of this. We are talking about the number 3 man in the country. That's the number 3 man in the country as far as democracy is concerned. So I don't know. But Senator Natasha, stay strong and then keep fighting and then continue being like the voice to the women, because you have been trying so far. Me, I respect you, especially for that Yaya Bello fight where you stand up against them. A lot of people don't know about that story. And then the one of the Ajakuta steel, you know, the Russian government, you know, everything. I think people where they know what's up, they know who you are. But again, I think you were a little bit sentimental with this fight. A lot of sentiment came into it. And lastly, you see why the fight, you cannot even win the fight, no matter what. This man is close to your husband, very, very close ally to your husband. The only way to fall this guy man down, now if you bring something very, very deep. And from the way they say you and say your husband, they're very close to this man. If you bring something very deep, it go affect your husband as well. So your hands are tied, you know, your hands are really tied. But then again, it's a win-win. You spoke up. That's the most important thing. You know, for your 6 months, I don't know if you see your money. I don't get anything on me right now. I don't get much. I don't get much on me right now. Sending you prayers. Peace and love. Take care. Don't play.
On the floor of the Senate, I went on channel television, in my opinion, to defend the Senate. When we were being accused of spending money here and there, I said, no, I bought my own furniture, etc. The distinguished senator said I had breached his privileges. On that occasion, some people spoke in my favor, but there were few who insisted that what I said was in bad taste. I asked myself there and then, who will cast the first stone that he has never lied? Sorry, he has never erred, if I have actually erred. But on this occasion, my intention was to defend the institution, and yet some members felt offended. I have been a governor for 8 years. I was re-elected. I didn't do a receipt. I chairman the governing party for 2 years. I was removed. I didn't go to court. So once I noticed that there were some senators who felt that my comment was embarrassing to them, for me, it is a mark of strength to admit that not being my intention, that I apologize to those who felt offended by my comment, even as my intention was very noble and clear as far as I was concerned. I think that to apologize is not to belittle yourself. And even the Holy Bible says, and this is where I want to appeal to those who have taken very strong stand, that any sin we commit, once we admit to the fact of our failing, of committing, of breaching any of the 10 commandments of God, that if we apologize to God and confess that we will not do so again, we can still see the kingdom of God. I think it is based on this logic that the committee created a window. And I also know that on the previous occasion, that sort of window, even though not stated, was exploited for a former chief whip. So I don't want to go into the merits because there is nothing new to be said. I just want to appeal to Distinguished Senator Mrs. Udwanga that everyone that has spoken cannot possibly be coward or foolish. Truth of the matter is, the rules are binding.
So guys, welcome back. I agree with what Verydarkman said. You see, nobody is even saying that Senator Akpabio did what Senator Natasha is accusing him of. You get, the case have not been tried. The anger or the annoyance of people is how the case was dismissed. Like according to their excuse, she was the one that signed her petition herself. If that is the case, why not give the person another chance? Maybe you tell the person you can go and write a fresh petition and then get someone to sign it, to co-sign it for you, then you can submit it. Than just dismissing it like that. Like the way they just do the case, you will know that a meeting has already been done before that Senate meeting. Like everybody has already come in conclusion. There has been an inner meeting that Senator Natasha is not aware of or is not part of, and a conclusion have been done that this is what is going to happen when we come for meeting tomorrow. And also with the way that everybody say like agreed for the suspension to stand, like you will know that this is not something that happened immediately. Also, why is it that the person, it is not even normal, like what Mr. Okere said, that it is not even normal that the person that is being accused is the one that is superheading his own case. In a same country, once this accusation is flying, whether it's not even someone from the Senate, whether it's an ordinary woman that accused a senator of such a thing, they will first of all, you will come down from your office, not suspended though, until then the case will be tried, no matter how long it takes, even if it takes the amount of time that you're supposed to spend in office, until they come up with a result, whether you do this or not. Then maybe if you're not guilty, you cannot come back to your seat and start doing your work with proper compensations. But this one, nothing, and this is a senator. Hey, wahala for women in Nigeria. This is an eye-opening. This is an eye-opening. Like, if this can happen to Natasha, I said this yesterday, if this can happen to Natasha and nothing is done about it, like this case, they go and the suspension stand. People will, men, especially men in power, will stand on this and show women, and if not even women, anybody underdog, they will show them pepper. because this just shows that once person don't pass you for authority, no matter what the person does, nothing will ever make the person to take responsibility. So this is a very sensitive case, and I am very, very sure that more is going to come out of this. So guys, share me your opinion in the comment section. Also, like and share.